Good morning, everyone. So people from online can able to hear me. So thanks for joining, guys. Okay. So thank you so much for joining. So so this session is like a demo session. Like we are just starting. We'll try to understand what is cloud and everything in this session. So our course agenda is covering of AWS and Azure as well. So I think few people have attended webinar session earlier. So which we covered on both. So on both AWS. One second. So I think few of them is already attended the webinar session which we covered on both AWS and Azure earlier. So Pavan Kumar, so I can see a lot of questions in webinar chat. So don't bother about it. Like I'll allow you to talk at the end of our session. So I'll clear all your doubts before closing the session. And at the same time, you can also reach out to the admin for the details like fees, everything. Coming to the course duration, so this course will be around 60 days, 55 days around. So 40 days will be AWS and 15 days will be Azure. So most of the part in the AWS we will cover first. And also along with that, so I'll also cover important services on Azure as well. So the reason behind combining both AWS and Azure is, so a lot of companies So a lot of companies will expect multi-cloud from the candidate. Like for example, if you are trying for a job as a fresher or as an experienced, if you are specifying only AWS in your resume, so I'm not saying that with AWS you will not get the job opportunities, but if you are adding multi-cloud in your resume, so that people will, try to pick your resume and, the chances will be increased when compared to the single cloud. Because in many of the companies, people started using multiple clouds. For example, in earlier days, if there is a single company, they're supposed to use only a particular cloud in their environment or into build their infrastructure. But later on, what people started doing is they try to implement multiple cloud on their environment. For example, as you know, like any other clouds, like AWS, or Azure or GCP or anything. So that we have a different cloud platforms, right? Organizations started using cloud, and initially they started using one particular cloud. But later on, instead of depending on a single cloud platform, they started using multiple cloud platforms in their organizations. The reason is, as we all know that AWS provides multiple services. Like we have a lot of services in AWS. We have a lot of services in AWS. So I'll tell you what is AWS, what is Azure. So so we have a lot of services like I'll try to make you understand what is AWS, what is cloud, what is Azure earlier. But I'm just giving you a glance like why we are learning both AWS and Azure. So why we need to learn both AWS and Azure here. So when we have multiple services in particular cloud, so people started using a few services from AWS in their organization and few services from Azure in their organization or few services from some other cloud platform. So that when the candidate is having knowledge on multiple cloud platform, so it will be easy for us to get the job and easy for us to get our resume picked. So that is one reason. The second reason why they started using of multiple services in multiple cloud platforms, why they are not using or why they are not following a single cloud platform. Again, the reason is, one is in the cost perspective. So for example, if there is a service in particular AWS, so it might have a particular pricing, and there is a service in particular cloud platform, so it might have a different pricing. So we can compare, for example, even in the real time world also, whenever we went to somewhere, so what we will do, we will try to look at the same product in multiple places, and we will try to compare it, and we will try to buy that, right? So it depends on the pricing. So that is one perspective. And the second perspective is, if I have a huge organization, if I have a big organization, myself depending on a cloud platform, a single cloud platform, according to the cloud service providers, it won't go down 99.999%. But unfortunately, if one cloud platform goes down, so we will be dependent on it, right? To avoid that, so people also started using multiple cloud platforms. And yeah, like, with respect to the costing or with respect to any technical aspects, there might be a unique features of each cloud platform. And obviously, we will have get benefit of it. So these are the few reasons why people or why organizations started using of different cloud platforms. Here in the today's session, I would like to explain you about. I don't want to jump into the cloud platforms immediately now. So uh, the way how we designed is first three, four, at least 5 to 6 sessions will be a little bit slow, because every day it can be a new people join into the session, so that initially the sessions will be a bit slow. Okay, so don't consider this as demo. So my point is like every day at least we have to learn two new points, even though if I'm repeating the previous session, so I'll be covering a new point then. That is because of if anyone joins in the middle, so they don't get scared or they don't get confused. So they should understand it very clearly. So for that reason, we will be covering it a little bit slow for initially 5 to 6 days. Then later on, we will speed up that. And first 40 days, we will go with AWS services. And whatever the service that I explained, each and every service will be practically shown, and according to your subscription, recordings can be shared to you. Whatever the service or whatever the theory that I explained to you, so that will be shown to you practically. Along with that, I will also prepare a running notes for you, whatever the topic that I have discussed on that particular day. So I will prepare a running notes and I will be sharing it to you as well. So you will be having a recording, you will be having a notes, you will be having everything. And always I'll be accessible to you. If you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me. Okay. So the reason behind first we are covering one cloud platform and second we are covering another platform is, generally when you learn one cloud platform, it will be easy for you to understand the other cloud platform because the concept will be the same. If I talk about a storage or if I talk about anything, so you can easily compare it and you can easily learn it. And to learn cloud, it can be AWS or it can be any other cloud platform. You don't require any prerequisites. I mean, you don't need to, go back and learning something and coming back to here and learning this. So that doesn't require here. So that is the only, I can say a good advantage of cloud, because here we do not have any scripting, that you don't need to learn any scripting before learning cloud, or you don't need to learn anything else before learning cloud. According to my point of view, you can come to my class with a fresh point of view. I mean, with a fresh mind. So it is my responsibility to make you understand when I'm explaining something. I will be explaining from the very scratch. I will be explaining, how much that you required, up to what extent that you required. You can easily just learn it and you can practice it. And I'm always accessible to clear all your doubts. Hope you are all clear, people who join from the online. So don't be get scared about cloud platforms if you are new to this. So it's my responsibility to make you understand. Leave it to me. Just follow what I say for next 2 months, whatever we are covering this. And today, at least, we will try to understand what is cloud. What is cloud exactly? So if you have any answers in your mind, I can always I'll always encourage you to put it in the chat box. What is cloud? So if the general question, people who started learning of any cloud platform, the general question people will get is exactly what is cloud. So people who are looking for numbers, I can see some messages in the chat box. So by the end of this session, admin will post you the contact of to whom you need to reach out and everything. And after this class also, there will be a person from our Naresh IT will be reaching out to you. So for all your details, they'll clarify all your queries and all, and you can follow that. So now, when I talk about what is cloud, the common question which we always have in our mind whenever we want to learn is what is cloud. So for that, many people generally we will have an answer that cloud is a storage. So generally, whenever someone asks me about what is a cloud, if I'm new to cloud, if I don't know anything about cloud, the general answer or the general thing that what we know is cloud is a storage. But according to my point of view, cloud is not just storage. Before understanding the cloud, we will go with an example. For example, we all knows that what is Google Drive. We all know that what is Google Drive. So generally, so Google Drive is for storage. So generally, Google Drive is for storage. So whenever I want to store my data, so I'll be just signing up into the Google account, navigating to the Google Drive, and uploading my data into the Google Drive. So the meaning of Google Drive is to store the data generally. So how much data that we can store it in the Google Drive? If you get a question that how much data that we can store it in a Google Drive is nothing but we can store unlimited data in Google Drive. We can store unlimited data inside the Google Drive. So whenever I want to use Google Drive, simply I'll sign up into the Google account. I will navigate the service and I will upload the data into the Google Drive. So here, when I talk about Google Drive, do we require to maintain any physical device with us whenever I'm uploading the data into Google Drive? For example, when I have a hard disk, when I have a hard disk, if I want to upload my data into the hard disk, so I have to procure the hard disk. I have to procure the hard disk. I have to copy my data into the hard disk. And after that, I have to carry the hard disk along with me. So whenever I want to store my data into the hard disk, I want to procure the physical hard disk. I want to copy the data into the hard disk and I want to carry it along with me. But whenever I uploaded some data into the Google Drive, do I maintaining any physical device along with me? So I'm not going to maintain any physical device along with me. Simply I'm just uploading the data into the Google Drive. But if it is a physical hard disk, I should maintain it. Then if I'm not maintaining any physical device, when I am uploading my data into the Google Drive, where my data is getting stored, somewhere it has to get stored, right? It will not really get stored in a clouds or somewhere. Somewhere it has to be stored physically. When I upload my data into the Google Drive, somewhere it has to be stored physically. So when I stored it physically, where the data is getting stored. So here, even though if you upload your data into the Google Drive, it will be stored physically, and that physical infrastructure responsibility will be taken by service provider. So service provider. So what do you mean by service provider? The person who is providing service. Service provider means the person who is providing the service. For example, if I want to have an ACT connection in my house, internet connection. So I can have an internet connection of any company, right? If that particular service is providing the ACT, providing by ACT, so ACT is a service provider there. If it is providing by Geo, Geo is the service provider there. Similarly, when I'm talking about Google Drive, when I uploaded my data into the storage and how it has been maintained by service provider physically. In our case, if I talk about Google Drive, Google is the service provider. So when you upload some data into the Google Drive, it will be stored physically, it will be stored at somewhere, and that is being maintained by our service provider. Generally, in a single statement, if someone asks you about what is cloud, instead of we maintaining our infrastructure, service provider will maintain the infrastructure. So that is called cloud. One point that is called one of the point in cloud. Instead of we maintaining the infrastructure, service provider will maintain the infrastructure. That is called cloud. At the same time, when I talk about Google Drive, do I need to pay anything fixed monthly, or will I pay anything based on my usage in Google Drive? Obviously, it will be how much that I have used in the Google Drive. So I'll be paying for it, right? So that model we call it as pay as you go model. That model we'll call it as pay as you go model. Pay as you go model. Pay as you go model means how much you use, you'll pay for it. If I talk about Google Drive, if I upload 100 GB of data, I'll be buying for 100 GB and I'll be paying for it. If I upload something else, I'll be paying more. Similarly, the 2 points that you need to remember about cloud is instead of you maintaining your infrastructure, service provider will be maintaining it. At the same time, instead of you know paying like any fixed price, it is just a pay as you go model. How much you use, you will pay for it. That is called what is cloud. Coming back, so what is cloud means generally, instead of you maintaining your infrastructure, service provider will maintain it. Now let's say I want to use cloud platform. As we all know that we have many applications in the market. We have a lot of applications like Abibus application, Manabadi application. We have a lot of applications generally. For example, if I want to host some application, like, or else if I'm starting a company, if I'm starting a startup, I may get the project, or my product is my own. I want to build some application. Whenever you want to do such things, the basic thing that you have to do is set up an infrastructure. You have to set up an infrastructure. For example, if I wanted to build some abibus.com or manabadi.com or some Flipkart e-commerce application or whatever it may be, the first thing what you're supposed to do is you will be creating your network. Inside the network, you will be creating a server. You will be creating a server. Inside the server, you will be hosting your application and you will be creating a database. And you should able to monitor this service. And at the same time, when there is a server here, when a single server cannot able to handle the traffic, you should able to replicate the server, add a kind of a load balancer. So that instead of people accessing to the server, If people are accessing to the balancer, it shares the traffic. And for example, if two servers are not able to handle the traffic, you should able to increase the servers automatically, decrease the servers automatically. So you have to set up everything like this. So here, if you want to know more about what is cloud, cloud is just providing of all these services. For example, if you want to create a network, you will be having one service. If you want to create a database, you will be having one service. If you want to monitor the servers, you will be having one service. If you want to create a load balancer, you will be having one service. If you want to automatically create the servers, you will be having one service. Everything. For each and every use case, there will be a service available. Learning of any cloud platform, AWS or Azure, any cloud platform, learning of any cloud platform is nothing but learning of these services. So whenever you talk about cloud, whenever you talk about learning cloud, it's just what to use, or you can say like where to use, how to use. These are the two statements that you should. Whenever we have a service in AWS, we should able to aware that where I can use this service. When you know where to use that particular service, easily you can understand how to use that service. Okay, especially in our 2 months of course, whenever we are discussing about AWS or whenever we were discussing about Azure. So what we will learn is we will pick up a service and we will learn where to use this service and how to use this service and a real-time use case of that service. So that whatever the services that we learn, you will be easily understanding about the real-time use case of that particular service as well. So if you want to just understand what is cloud, I'm repeating it again. Cloud is a virtualization concept. Instead of you creating your infrastructure, service provider will take care of it. I mean, you will be creating it, it will be maintained by service provider. And the second thing is cloud is pay as you go model. How much you use, you will be paying for it. And the third point is here we have lot of services available in cloud platforms. Based on our usage or based on our requirement, we have to figure out which service that we need to use, and we have to understand how to configure that service. So in our course, definitely we will learn all this, and we will also learn real-time use cases of this. Now, when I talk about infrastructure, see the reason why people are moving into the cloud. So, okay, we understood what is a cloud. Then why people are moving into the cloud platforms? What is the reason behind that? See, maintaining of physical infrastructure is not that much easy. It also includes a lot of investment and also a lot of uh, work that we need to do. For example, when I talk about a basic infrastructure, like when I start a company or when I want to start a project or when I'm getting a project, if I want to put a basic infrastructure, I have to put a lot of investment. I have to procure many things. Like I have to procure servers, switches, routers, cables, air conditioner. There should be an admin who will always need to take care of it. There will be a power bill. There should be a power backup as well. And there should be a room to maintain all this. For example, if you remember if your college days, earlier, if your college days or people who have the work experience, if you remember your previous organizations, everywhere there will be a server room where no one will allows into it. Only the IT admins will be allowed into it. So when there is a server room, if you can observe that it is full of AC and there are a lot of wires, cables and all, there is an infrastructure being set up. So to set up a physical infrastructure, this is what always we need to set up. We have to procure all these things like servers, switches, routers, cables, air conditioners, we have to have a dedicated admin to it and power backups and everything. Once you invested a lot, and if you didn't get the project or if you lost the project, you will be wasting a lot of amount here. Because see, for example, when I want to buy a computer or a laptop, so directly I will not go to the shopping mall and directly I will not buy a laptop whatever I mean, without looking at any configuration. Just I won't see just a company brand name and I won't buy a laptop, right? So definitely when we are buying a laptop, definitely we will be having a configuration in our mind. For example, when I'm like, I might have an idea like, okay, I want to have a laptop to just watch the movies. So that what I'll do, I will buy a laptop with a basic configuration. For example, when I want to buy a laptop for to get what I can say, to do a video editing or photo editing, obviously my configuration will get increased. So here, when I'm talking about very small requirement, and when I'm saying that if it is for watching movies, I can get a laptop for 30,000 rupees. If I want to do some video editing or anything else, so my laptop price will increase because obviously, the configuration will be get increased. It might end up at 50,000 or 65,000 or something. When we were discussing about a very small requirement, we are getting a difference of 15 to 15,000 or at least 10,000, right? But when I'm talking about a huge infrastructure, so when you look at the configuration, so obviously there will be a difference of lakhs of rupees. So that is the reason when they were going, if they go with a huge infrastructure and if they didn't get a project as expected, or if they bought a very less infrastructure and if immediately they required, it won't be that easy to get it immediately with the physical infrastructure. It will be very difficult. So to avoid all, the investment is also very high. To avoid all these things, people are migrating to cloud platforms like AWS and Azure. Because the beauty of these cloud platforms is you don't need to invest anything. All you need to do is it's just pay as you go model. You don't need to pay anything upfront. Simply whatever you want. For example, if I want to have a server saying that 4 CPUs, 2 GB memory or 2 GB RAM, whatever it may be, I can create a server in just 1 minute. I can create a server in just 1 minute. Here for that, I don't need to pay anything upfront. So simply I can say is, and what I can say is simply I can use it, and if I don't want, I can delete it. So I already told you initially, people who have any questions, please wait until next 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 10 minutes at least, because at the end I will allow you to talk everyone. Since we have 55 sessions, we can't unmute for each and everyone in the middle of the session. At the end of the session, you will be raising your hands, whoever is having a question. So I will allow you to ask you a question and I'll clear all your doubts before leaving the session. With this model, if you have any problem or any concern, kindly leave the session. So now when I'm talking about servers, when I'm talking about a physical infrastructure, so I will be procuring the physical infrastructure whenever I want. But whenever I talk about a cloud platforms, so simply whatever I want, I'll be creating it. I don't need to pay anything here. Simply, I'll just create it. If I don't use, I'll delete it. For example, if I need a server, I'll explain you about what is a server as well. Please don't get confused. I'll be explaining it from the very scratch. And for example, when I'm talking about a server, if I required 2 GB memory, four CPUs or something, simply I can create a machine. If I feel that I'm not using it, I can stop the machine. Whenever we stop the machine in the cloud, we don't need to pay for it. And when I feel that I don't require it anymore, I can completely delete it. So that is the beauty of cloud, because there is no granted price here. So how much you use, you'll be paying for it. For example, we have a service for storage. When I have a service for a storage, for example, if I upload my data like 100 GB in this month, I'll be paying for 100 GB. If I uploaded 30 GB, I'll be paying for 30 GB. So that is called pay as you go model. But if it is an on premises, so it won't be feasible like that, right? You have to procure a hard disk. For example, if you procure a hard disk of 1 TB, it doesn't matter you are using like 2 GB or 3 GB or 50 GB. So you have to buy it, you have to maintain it. So here, in especially in cloud platforms, the reason why we call it as a pay as you go model, and the reason why we call it as, uh, we don't put any investment is, here we are not buying anything. We are using everything for a rental basis. Okay. What are the three different points that we understood here? What are the what are the few different points that we learned today? So we try to understand about what is cloud today. So what is cloud means? Since you maintaining your infrastructure, service provider will maintain the infrastructure. So that is what we will learn. We learn. And we are learning it from the very basics. People who are very new to cloud, do not worry about anything. Always it is my responsibility to make you understand and to clear all your doubts. Okay. So don't feel that people who are already aware of cloud, they might think that, okay, this is very basic. Yes, this is very basic, but when I am explaining something, I have to keep everything in mind, right? People who are very new to cloud, people who just entered into the IT, so people who are already been in the IT, since I have to understand every mindset, so that I will be explaining it from the very scratch. If you know already this, just it's good. Listen to it again. If you are not good in it, please ask me again. I'll repeat it again. So when we talk about what is the cloud, pay as you go model, instead of we maintaining our infrastructure, service provider will maintain it. And we have a lot of services available in cloud platforms based on our usage and based on our requirement. We will be using whatever the service that we want, and we will be, using all those services. And we will be creating it whenever we require, and we will be deleting it whenever we don't require. Clear? That is about what is cloud. What is the physical infrastructure? Instead of calling it as a physical infrastructure, in organizations, you might hear a name called on-premises infrastructure. So on-premises infrastructure means nothing but, what I can say is, if you are maintaining your infrastructure in your premises, that is called on-premises. Generally, I started with physical infrastructure, right? But professionally, when you're talking to someone, they might not call it as physical infrastructure, they might call it as on-premises infrastructure. So when they call it as on-premises infrastructure, don't get confused. On-premises infrastructure is nothing but a physical infrastructure which we maintained in our premises. That is called on-premises infrastructure. So earlier, before we having the cloud platforms, we supposed to have an on-premises infrastructures where we maintaining our own infrastructure. Then later on, when we started using of cloud platforms, what people is doing, they migrated to the from on-premises infrastructure to cloud infrastructure. Instead of they maintaining it in their infrastructure, service provider is maintaining it. That is called cloud infrastructure. So you understood about what is on-premises infrastructure and what is cloud. On-premises infrastructure means if we are maintaining our own infrastructure and we are procuring the servers, switches, routers, cables, everything, whatever we required. And the second part, whenever we talk about a cloud infrastructure, instead of we maintaining our infrastructure, service provider is maintaining, we have a lot of services available and it is pay as you go model. Now let's try to understand about server. Because people who are entering into the IT, people who are very new to IT, they always get confused about what is a server. In a simple language, sir, if you want to answer to the question, what is a server? And you might hear a lot of terminologies like application server, database server, application server, database server, and all. So don't get confused when you hear about application server and Tomcat server. So server is just a machine. Server is just a machine. Server is nothing but a computer. Server is nothing but a computer. So many of them get confused. Sir, if you're saying that server is a computer, then can you make our laptop as a server? Yes, we can, but my laptop's configuration may not be sufficient. For example, the place where you run your applications, that is called server. For example, if there is an Abibus application. So we are all accessing to the Abibus application. It means that is got hosted at somewhere. Abibus application is hosted somewhere. The place where we host our applications, that is called server, which is nothing but a machine. If I host Abibus application in my laptop, will my laptop configuration will be sufficient? Because how many users per second will access to the Abibus application? If I'm using my laptop for continuous 24 hours, it might not work. It will get hang, right? Because my laptop configuration is too low. But when I want to host the application, when I feel that my application should respond n number of users outside, which can handle traffic from outside, the configuration should be high. So in that case, even the same machine will be there, but with high configuration that we have. Generally, if you remember, when there is a when there is a bottle, if this is a bottle, if you fill this bottle with a drink, if you fill this bottle with a drink, what do we call it? We will call it as a drink bottle. If you fill the same bottle with water, you will call it as water bottle, right? When there is a bottle, if you fill the bottle with a drink, you will call it as drink bottle. If you fill the bottle with water, you will call it as water bottle. So here, when I talk about a server, when there is a machine, if you hosted application on that, you will call it as application server. If you host database on that, you will call it as database server. That's it. So whenever we have any Abibus application or anything, they will have both application and database. What they do, they will have two different machines. In one machine, they will host the application. The other machine, they will host the database. So obviously, whatever the machine that they were using, it will have very high configuration because it should able to handle the traffic from outside. Because per second, it might have thousands of requests, right? Request means if I want to book the tickets, I'll open and I'll click on www.abivas.com, right? So that is one request. So whenever it should able to handle the traffic, more traffic, it will have a high configuration. So that is called server. Server is just a machine. Don't get confused. Server is just a machine. That's it. So today we try to understand about what is a server, what is an on-premises infrastructure, what is a cloud platform. Okay. Tomorrow I'll explain you about what is a network, what is an IP address, what are the regions, availability zones, all different things. Okay. Now I'll allow you to raise your hands from the online. So if you have any questions, I will clear all your questions now. Abbas, do you have any question? Mahendra, I allowed you to talk. Uh, Mahendra, one second, one second. Let me change the speaker here. Mahendra, I think, can you able to hear me now? Please unmute and ask your question. Mahendra, you're on mute. Mahendra Gangadhari, you're on mute. Chaitanya Prakash, I allowed you to talk. You're on mute. Please unmute and ask your question. I can't hear you, Chaitanya. Mahendra, I allowed. Let me just allow it again. Mahendra, you're on mute, Mahendra, so you can.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Mahendra.
So till now, like I got error. Okay,
Okay.
I can able to. Okay. So here in this course, like Azure and AWS. So
Yes.
like, what are the modules that we are going to like Azure? We are having so many services like Azure Directory, Azure Admin
Yes.
side, and all.
Yes. Yes. In
So
AWS
like,
also, we have a lot of services, right? So in
okay.
AWS, for example, in AWS, if I talk about VPC, EC2, load balancing, auto scaling, CloudWatch, CloudTrail, so all different services, I'll be sharing the content with the admin. So admin will also share you the content, what exactly that we were covering, what services that we are covering. In Azure also load balancers, storage, IAM, virtual machines, everything. So I will be sharing you the content in detail, Mahinder. Okay, you can get it from the admin. Okay.
So are we covering web apps in this web apps and
No.
Azure functions and all?
Azure
Okay.
functions we will covering, web apps not.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. How much the duration? 2 months is it?
Yeah. So it will be minimum 55 working sessions will be there. 50 to
Okay.
55 working sessions will be there. Okay. Apart from holidays.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Chaitanya, I can't hear you, Chaitanya. So let me go. Yeah, 1 second. I'll come into the WebEx questions, guys. Once I have unmuted here, then I'll answer the WebEx questions. Shalini, I allowed you to talk. Please unmute and ask your question.
Sir, what are the timings of these classes?
So every day at 7:30 we start our class. Like, but initially we won't start it initially at 7:30. We will just give 10 minutes buffer around 7:40 or 7:45. We will start, and so up to um, 8:30 we will go with topics, and every day at least 15 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes I'll be allowing everyone to ask their questions. Total 1.5 around.
So it's Monday to Friday or Monday to
Monday
Saturday?
to Friday.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Malik, I allowed you to talk. Please unmute and ask your question. Malik, I allowed you to talk. I can't hear you, Malik. Please unmute and ask your question. Brahmanand Reddy, I allowed you to talk. Please unmute and ask your
Hey,
question.
this is Shehzad
Sir,
here.
good
Can
morning,
you hear
sir.
me?
Yeah, for Brahmanand Reddy, you go first. Malik, just 1 second, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sir,
Brahmanand
good
Reddy.
morning. Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning.
Sir, do we use AWS and Azure in automation testing, sir?
See, automation testing is different. Cloud technology is different. Okay. Cloud technology is to build your infrastructure. It is not a testing tool, basically. Both are two different things. Okay. If
Uh,
you're having your, to test your application or something, that application can be hosted on cloud, but both are not same. Clear?
okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Malik, unmute and ask your question. Malik, I unmute and ask your question. You're on mute, Malik.
Hey, thanks. Someone muted me actually.
Yeah.
I was asking whether we will be having any kind of hands-on practical sessions.
Every day, whatever the service that we discussed, okay, that will be shown as a practical as well. Every day, every topic what we discussed, that will be shown you as a practical as well.
But will we be able to do it on our
Yes.
own machines, like
You
something kind
yes,
of
you can
on
able to do,
AWS?
you can able to do, and you will be having a lab sessions if you are from online, and there will be a mentors who will be helping you as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So will it be some kind of a sandbox or actual AWS?
See, basically, you know, even the account which we are using in the organization, the account which we are using it here, both are same. Okay. Sandbox, development, production, those are all just names. Okay. To practice, we have to create our own free tier account and we have to practice in it. I mean, institute will not be providing any a separate account for you to practice.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Uttam Kumar, I allowed you to talk. Please unmute and ask your question.
So my question is, it is a live classes? Before you explain everything, that was a live or it was a recorded?
Live classes.
Can I come for the offline classes as well?
Yes, you can come to the offline as well. Here we have the offline students as well. At a time, we were covering both online and offline as well.
Okay, so but the problem is I have involved for the Azure DevOps. Now it's
Okay.
content I guess for the Azure and then AWS
Yes.
infrastructure.
Yes. So Azure DevOps is a similar thing to the Jenkins, right? So even using Azure DevOps, there will be a combination like, if you want to deploy any infrastructure as a code or anything, few people will use Azure DevOps into the AWS deployment and Azure with Azure as well. So it will be helpful.
No, but I'm already working in the admin, Azure
Mhm.
admin. So I want
Yeah.
to, I have enrolled for the Azure DevOps, like creating CI/CD pipeline and whatever the
Okay.
entire Azure DevOps dashboard.
Okay. Okay.
So I want to learn that kind of.
Okay. This particular session is not for Azure DevOps. This is for AWS plus Azure Infra Services.
Okay. In Azure admin or AWS admin kind of.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me allow others. Shubhankar, I allowed you to talk. Shubhankar, uh, I can't. Shubhankar, I'm not sure why. Like, for you, I'm not getting to unmute. For others, I'm getting. Uh, Ashok Tekela, I allowed you to talk. Ashok Tekela, I allowed you to talk. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Ashok.
Yeah. Sir, will you cover Databricks?
No, so Databricks will not be covered.
Oh, this is purely into admin part, right?
Infrastructure part mostly, not
Infrastructure.
covered
Oh,
any data engineering part. So we will
oh,
be just covering a few database services, like, how to create a database.
oh, okay. Sir. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, let me go with questions now. Uttam, do you have any other question? You have raised your hand again. Okay.
No, I never know.
Okay. So let me go to the chat box. Srinivas K. So service provider is providing the server or services are, please explain. See, service provider is something like a company name. That's it. They are providing the services and we were using it. That's it. Timings, the same timings, today's timings. Malik, yes, you can get the course content from the admin. What will be the role be doing after completing the course? It will be at the industry level. Yes, it will be at the industry level. It depends on how you practice. And after this, you can get into the part of cloud engineer role, cloud infra role, cloud admin role, all this. Yes, Shalini, admin will share you the content. Do we need coding language? Sai, we do not need any coding language. Forget about the coding. So costing price admin will help you. Chaitanya, so you can get the course content, so it will be covered whatever the services that we are going to cover. Yeah, cloud engineer role, Venkatesh. What are the different types of role that you asked, right? Abbas, yes, we were covering AWS Lambda as well. Pavan Kumar, yes, here who people who opt for cloud courses. So for them, there will be a free Linux course offered. So outside, if you want to, enroll the Linux courses, you want to again spend some money, right? But here, people who learn cloud, so they will be having a free Linux course. So you can attend the free Linux sessions here. So opt for it; it will be helpful. Gaurav, yeah, for data scientists also it will be suitable. Kiran, for evening batch, please reach out to the admin. So yeah, that's it, guys. People who do not have any questions, they can leave the session. People who have any question, they can stay back. So I'll just clear the offline. If you do not have any doubts, you can leave it. Sahi don't require any coding here, okay? So we don't require any coding. Without coding, you can learn this. Shravana, 1 second, I'm allowing you to talk. Shravana. Yes, Shravana, please unmute and ask your question.
Your audio is very less.
Okay. For
Now
everyone,
it is
please now it will be good. So I was just clearing the offline, so I put the mic aside. Yeah, please ask your question.
okay. See, my questions are so after completing this course, we will do in a shift based work or a normal general work.
It depends on the company. For example, if you're working for a US company, okay, it depends on the rotational shifts as well, right? So that based on the course, we can't guarantee that whether it is a shift based or anything. It depends on the client that you have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. After completing those, we have to do any other extra course.
Not required. You can try with this.
Okay. Only this is enough, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You said for Linux also you will be teaching us. Will it
Linux
be
that
like a Linux administration course
yes,
or?
Linux administrator.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is free of cost. You can just admin will contact you today. Okay. So whenever you signed up into this meeting, so it asks your mobile number, right? So admin will reach out to you, so he'll provide you all the details.
Okay. Similarly, VM virtualization will be there in this course.
Yes. Yes.
So whatever we do, create the server. Those things are virtualization. Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if any performance issue comes, so what kind of solution you will be taking action?
That you will be understanding when we discussed about the course. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said 55 sessions, right?
Come again.
You said 55 sessions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that means it will take 3 months, right? Including Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, more than 2 months.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, more than 2 months it might take. 40
Okay.
sessions
Okay.
will be on AWS, another 15 sessions will be on Azure.
Okay. So this is the first batch you're taking, or already you have done it?
I have done almost 3,000 students till now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm. So, so what kind of support we get after doing this course from you?
Yeah. So admin will reach out to you. They'll explain you about the placement assistance, what placement assistance they'll give you.
No, no, I'm not taking asking in that way.
What support that
So
you
during our live work environment, we may
As I
face
said,
issue,
there
right?
will be a mentors who will be joining along with you. Okay, if you want to come offline, you can come offline. If it is an online, there will be a mentors who will be helping you if you got stuck at somewhere.
No, no, can I speak louder? It is in very low.
So if you have any problem or anything, okay, there will be a mentors who will be helping you in the live sessions. Like there will be a lab.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
So this sorry, AWS and Azure. So it will have both Windows and Linux environment, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay. So you work for which company?
I think that details not required here, right? I'm a full-time trainer.
Okay, okay, Santosh. Hmm. So what kind of security actions will be taken in this AWS and Azure?
We have a services for security, like WAF, security groups. Okay. So we will learn like why we are adding those to the infrastructure and what is the use of it when we were discussing about that particular services.
Okay, that means it includes a firewalls in this, or firewall is totally
Firewall is
different.
nothing but a security group in AWS or Azure.
Okay, okay. So actually, we have a separate firewall tool like Bitbucket and then
Firewall,
FortiClient and all, right?
Bitbucket is not a firewall tool, right? It's a source code management.
Oh, sorry, sorry. This big another tool is the FortiClient.
That is FortiGate, right?
40 yes.
Those are all not, I mean, it won't be available in cloud.
Okay, so those things are additional features, or those things are not added, right? For
I mean, better you're trying to understand more, like since you haven't have an idea, right? If you just attend for 2-3 sessions, you'll get more understanding on it. FortiGate is a physical hardware. Okay.
okay,
In
okay,
cloud, we have a security group, as I said, for firewall, right?
okay, okay. I don't know.
Going,
Okay, just
Going forward, you'll get understanding more about it.
yeah, yeah. So that means AWS itself will have all kinds of facilities, right?
Yes.
Apart from additional physical tools.
Srinivas,
Okay, thank.
yeah, Srinivas, I allowed you to talk. Srinivas K. Pranati, I allowed you to talk.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Srinivas.
Sir,
Yes.
good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, how many services is there for both, sir, in admin point of view?
See, generally we have hundreds of services in cloud. Okay. Out of it, the important services like, the hundreds of services are belongs to data engineering, artificial intelligence. So different aspects. But with respect to the cloud, with respect to the infra part or, whatever we were covering. So it will be like around, around 10 to 15 services or around 20 services. We will learn it in detail. You'll get the course content. Just look at the course content. You'll get more understanding on it. Okay.
Apart from Azure also, how many services, sir?
Same.
Same, sir.
Yeah.
Clarity, this, I don't know, sir, exactly. We are in background in programming technology, actually. We don't know any about in cloud, actually.
See, I mean, as I said initially, it's my responsibility to make you understand. Okay, don't bother about your previous work experience or previous knowledge. You can just listen to it freshly.
Can easily catch, sir.
Come again?
who can easily
Yeah,
understand
you can easily understand, no problem.
basic notes are explained clearly, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Pranati, I allowed you to talk. Pranati, please unmute and ask your question. Okay, guys. So if you do not have any question, please leave the session.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you, Pranati. Please tell me.
Yeah. In this course, application deployment is there? Any application deployment?
So I'll show you where to deploy, not how to deploy. So we were not deploying any application, but I'll show you how the infrastructure need to be there.
Okay. Is there any separate course for this?
There won't be any sessions like if you want to learn applications.
No. I'm
I
not
will-
asking in this course. Any separate
That's what I'm
course?
telling. That's what I'm telling, Pranati. If you want to go with an
Mm.
application course like Android, iOS, it's a separate thing. In cloud, there won't be any course like deploying the application. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Satya Narayana, can you please ask your question?
Yes, Santosh, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Actually, I inquired about MCSC with Azure.
Come again, come again.
I was requested for MCSC with Azure.
Okay.
So, whether MCSC is covering this?
No. This is only AWS and Azure.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Thank you.
So people who do not have any questions, please leave the session.
Hello. Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, Abbas, I allowed you to talk. Please ask.
Yes, sir. This one in AWS Lambda, how many days you are covering? How many classes?
No, it would be like just 1 or 2 days explaining the Lambda and doing some kind of a POC with Lambda. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, what is the difference between this deploying in EC2 compared to this one, sir? Lambda?
Lambda is a serverless application.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So thanks for joining. So we'll connect tomorrow again.